Okay, I think this is movie probably, I don't know, could be 30. I wanted to show one real quick of the Mustang in epoxy primer, back from the blaster, and up on the rotisserie. Got the rotisserie specifically to do this car. I didn't think it was going to need to spend a lot of time on it because it was so rust-free, which turned out to be a myth. It has as much rust as anything that I've had to work on with a Mustang. You can see the front of the driver's side door. That's really a shame because you say, oh, well, you know, get a different door. There's a dent. That would easily come out. But it still has the VIN tag on it that matches the car, so with the factory rivets. So I really, really, really hate to replace the door. I'll end up fixing that. Here are the fenders I plan to use. They're rough. An epoxy primer doesn't show a lot of stuff, but I just wanted to make a quick update and show you that the car was a lot more rusty than I thought. And the blaster really did a good job showing that. I thought it was fairly solid. It showed all of the holes. You know, once again, remarkably for a Mustang, the floor is in amazingly good shape. It's the areas you wouldn't think that are rusty that rusted. So you can see that. iPad tries to catch up as I'm moving. Those aren't white dots. Those are holes in the rear fender well. But overall, you know, just a lot of work to be done. I'm going to start with the floors and move forward from there and do the front aprons. Of course, there was a lot of damage in the crash. You can see that this side isn't bad. Front isn't too bad, but the right side, a lot of damage. Damage to the lower frame rail, as you can see. Rust down there. That's not a black paint. That's a rust hole. And dents. This area right here, can't see it right there. I'll try to pull back. This area right in here full of dents. But overall, car fairly solid. Like I said, it rusted in the typical spots, but the typical spots that it didn't rust were the cowl. Probably can't see it. I'll rotate it up there, but you can't see it. The cowl is remarkably solid. The floors are pretty good. And here's something I wasn't expecting. I know it won't show it, but the rocker. There's a hole there that they just decided to patch. And it was crushed all the way along. And they just filled it with body putty. They thought that was okay. So I'm going to have to fix that outer rocker. You can see how much body putty they like to use there in the quarter. That all looked really good before it went to the blaster. So lots of damage from that accident that wasn't repaired properly. But, you know, it's here. It's been blasted. It's got epoxy primer on it, so it can't continue to rust. It's up on the rotisserie. I've cleared most of the shit out of the garage. You can see I've still got a few stacks of stuff. Spare fenders there for pieces to fix the originals. And it's just going to be a lot of work. So I better get to it now that the garage is cleaned. I left a lot of plastic up from the epoxy primer because it's keeping the toolboxes remarkably clean. So, and I wish I could show you the rotisserie, but there's nobody to hold the camera. But this thing moves. It was so easy to center the car. It was pretty much what the vendor said, auto twirler. It would mount. They said it would mount in the holes. I put it in those holes, and the thing just spins and stays. And you do it all with one hand. And you can lock it too, by the way. So I'm very excited to get started, but I wanted to make one before I started. Thanks.